The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and are not those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. The phone lines are open. Call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. It's time for Stuart Laser Talk with your host, Dr. Tred J. Rizacker.
I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea,
Heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac.
I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Good morning, Stuart, Florida. Good morning, Treasure Coast. And good morning to all of the listeners nationwide. And I could even think around the world that live stream this. Did you know we're available around the world?
I had no clue.
Well, the internet, Michael.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, that's right. I remember that
dial-up modem.
10K
bandwidth. What is it? Is it logs on? Remember the old modems, the phone modems?
I knew that sound well.
Well, it's fantastic because here we are in lovely, wonderful Stuart, Florida, which we love and appreciate. This is where we live and have our residence. Yet you can tune in anywhere around the world to WSTU, right? 1450 AM.com. Is that the way the website is?
WSTU1450.com.
Okay. And you can see the shows, you can live stream, and you can let your friends know that Dr. Tred has many of my shows are available on the live streaming app on the YouTube. I saw them, right?
They're there.
They're really done a really great job with that. I have to give Michael and his staff a fantastic shout out for that because, 2-3 years ago, that wasn't existent.
Nope.
Now it's very, very easy. And all of my shows are now simulcasted online. So if you hear something that you like, you have a friend up north or somebody that, hey, you got to check this Dr. Tred's laser assisted weight loss program out, you can refer them right online. They can listen to it right online. And there's nothing easier than that. Okay, so my name is Dr. Tred Rizacker, and I am a chiropractor. For those of you who have never tuned in, I'm going to give a little breakdown today as to how I got involved with this, a little history about my family and our history in natural health care. And if you know anybody right now who's suffering with neuropathy, who's suffering with failed back syndrome, who's suffering with spinal degenerative arthritis, spondylosis in the lower back or neck area, anybody who is losing use of their muscles of their legs or arms from spinal back problems, anybody who has struggled with losing weight, anybody who has had injuries to their neck or back, which has affected their ability to lose weight, my Slim Body Laser Spa, along with the experience as a chiropractor and somebody who specializes in neuropathic treatment, for neuropathy as a chiropractor, we're able to handle these very complex conditions. The problems that, very few people show up with one problem. Typically, they have a whole plethora of problems. And the problem with medicine, as my father pointed out to me, who was a philosopher of chiropractic, a doctor of chiropractic for over 50 years, he said medicine knows more and more about less and less because they're getting so specialists. So, you know, if you have a problem that's multi-system and you show up at your doctor, very few of them are trained in all the systems. They know about it, but they can't really make a lot of recommendations. They're going to send you to somebody for your heart, somebody for your, you know, your endocrine system. You go to an endocrinologist, somebody for your bladder. You'll go to a urologist, somebody for your, you know, for your muscles. It's going to be a physical therapist or an orthopedic. They have you so hacked out in little pieces. It's like, it's quite amazing that they even function at all together as a whole. You know, and health is a wholesome. Health is homeostasis. Health is a natural inner balance, a tonicity, a natural ability to rebound from the challenges of life. That's what health is. You know how one way to describe health, you remember those punching bags that you can have the weight at the bottom and you punch them in the head and they fall back and they flip up again?
Yeah, they just fly right back.
They're self-righting.
Yes.
That's really a great definition of health. You know, you're going to get sick. You're going to have health issues. Doesn't mean you're unhealthy. It doesn't mean that you've made mistakes. Sometimes we get flus, we get fevers, we get colds, we get infections. There's things that happen to us. And the difference, a healthy person bounces back up right away. I mean, that's really the difference between health. So health is your ability to be resilient, to be able to bounce back from injuries and accidents. My office is located on East Ocean Boulevard here in Stuart, because remember, we are listening nationwide. So we're here in South Florida on the East Coast of Florida, midway, about 40 minutes north of West Palm Beach, about 40 minutes south of Vero Beach in Stuart. And it's a beautiful little, I like to say, a seaside community with lots of inland waterways. You know, it's a great place for boating and for waterfront properties. And my office is on East Ocean Boulevard. We are right across the street from the Fresh Market, which used to be Stuart Fine Foods, which used to be the East Ocean Mall. I remember that since I was 14 and 15 years old. We used to have breakfast over there at the mall. There was a little restaurant inside, and my buddy's mom worked there. Remember it very well. And so now it's called, my office is called the Slim Body Laser Spa, 2311 Southeast Ocean Boulevard in Stuart. And we are located right next to Carmela's Pizza in that plaza. It's a freestanding building. We have a consultation area. Of course, we have a beautiful waiting area, a consultation area where we can sit down together and I can show you the manufacturer's DVD for our equipment. We provide laser-assisted weight loss, laser body sculpting, and laser spot fat reduction. So we can reduce fatty deposits, subcutaneous fat, bellies, aprons, muffin tops, flabby chins, loose arms, bat wings, thunder thighs, cankles, fat knees, you name it. We can apply that laser energy to those subcutaneous fat deposits. And in a series of 9 sessions in 3 weeks, most of those fatty areas can be reduced significantly in that short 3-week time frame. Whether it's a belly, chin, arms, it doesn't really matter. Now, this procedure only targets the subcutaneous fat, the outer layer of fat, which is the stuff which is growing on the outer part of the body, basically in front of the muscles, but underneath the skin. So here's how you tell if you got subcutaneous fat. Take your hand, put it on your belly, squeeze the fingers. If you can squeeze that skin and that fat between your fingers, it's subcutaneous fat. We can help you with that. If you have a belly that looks like a beach ball and you go to grab it, and the only thing you can do is just barely pinch the skin on the top, like there's no fat underneath, you got a nutritional problem.
Oh boy. You
got an eating problem, not a laser problem. In other words, you're not suffering from lack of laser. You're suffering from lack of not eating right. And that can be a presentation which affects the liver. And I'm not making fun of it because it's a very serious condition when somebody comes in and usually we call that full-blown metabolic syndrome. All right. So we've been there now for, 7 to 8 years in this location. I've taken care of my staff and me have seen personally over 4,000 to 5,000 clients have been through the Slim Body Laser Spa. We have over 350 signed 8x10 testimonials when you come into the spa. They fill every single wall, every room, all the way down to thigh height, from your head all the way down. Four levels of testimonials. Why do we have so many testimonials, you might ask? Because there's a lot of fear about going in for body sculpting. You don't know if it's going to work. I could tell you it works, and my staff can tell you it works, but we have something to gain from it. And your little sensor, little psychic sensor, which says, maybe this is a ripoff, goes off, right? It's body sculpt, it's fat removal. There's been a lot of misunderstanding about this procedure. So then you come in and you start reading some of the testimonials on the wall. Now, these testimonials have a picture of our client, a face, not their body part. Most people are pretty private. And then it has a handwritten note as to what their results were, how many inches they lost, and would they recommend it to somebody else. And then it's signed with their own signature underneath that. And we make copies of that and we put those up on the wall. And it's our wall of heroes, basically people that want to share their story, their strength, their experience, their hope with the Slim Body Laser Spa. And it would be hard for them to come in and for you to call them and ask them how it worked. And you could read those testimonials. And we have a challenge now with the staff. This is an in-office challenge for my girls and my staff. And what I do is I'll come in on a Friday and I will write down a quote or a phrase from one of the testimonials that are on the wall. And it's a note, a quote which is easily recognized. And then they have all week to find the quote.
It might take all week.
Right. And they have to look at all the different ones. And now what we're doing is we're extrapolating that to our members, to our guests, our VIP, our alumni clients, the people that come to the spa who are completed the program and they're there for maintenance. Mm-hmm. And what we do is it's a fun game we play. If they can find the phrase, now I make it a little easier for my clients than my staff. If you can find the phrase, you can get a free laser session.
Really?
Yeah. So, and understand, there are 350 8x10 signed post, all over the walls. They're up high, they're down low, and some of them are written by hand by the person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of a challenge.
It can be, yeah.
But boy, when they find that phrase and they get that free session, it's been a win-win for all of us. They learn more about the people's stories. They get to see these different examples of, they're getting to read the testimonials. And then when they find the one, then they get that visit. And, it's just been, my staff is like, how do you come up with these ideas, Doc? I mean, I said, because I look at those testimonials and I realize nobody's like reading them all. There's too many.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make a perk, like a hit, like, Where's Waldo?
Right.
Where's Waldo?
Uh-huh.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I had many of those.
Used to be in that magazine, that kids magazine you got at the dentist's offices. What is that?
The highlights.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. And they had the Waldo where you had to find and see what was out of place.
Yeah.
That's where that came from. So we're always having fun. Life is too short to be a stick in the mud. Get out, move around, have fun. Okay, so I have a website. If you want to know anything about me, my procedure, how many times you have to come in, you want to see some video testimonies, you want to listen to the podcasts, it is all there on my website. Now, you can find it many ways. Stuart Laser Spa will lead you to the website. Slim Body Laser Spa will lead you to the website. And so will Dr. Tread's Slim Body Laser Spa, are all lead you to the website. And on that website, there's videos about the procedure. There's radio show podcasts. There's about a dozen right now that are on there that I selected. So you could click on the podcast, listen to it while you're home, while you're cleaning and doing things around your house. There's a blog page, and I have stories on health and weight loss and food combining and toxins and just things that are important to me and important to people that are wanting to keep their health, to stay healthy. We also have a video testimonial page on the website. I have over 30 video testimonials recorded right in my own office, unedited, for you to watch, and you can actually meet those people and they share their story. We are really working hard on updating and keeping my Facebook page active. I struggle with that for some reason.
We all do.
Really? I understand the importance of Facebook. I know it's relationships, and I know you're building quality people and friends on Facebook, but I do so much better if I can meet you.
Right.
Right. It's so hard for me to think that I don't realize anybody's looking at it. So I find myself being very brief on Facebook, and I apologize for that. I do like Twitter, though.
I did see.
Do you like Twitter?
I do like Twitter. I'm not on it every day.
Have you seen some of my tweets?
I saw some of them.
Yeah, I follow you. You follow me. We're followers.
Yeah, I saw you had some posts on there.
Yep. So the Twitter's been pretty cool. And but the most important thing I do to market and to promote and to educate the public, Stuart, Vero, is these outside events. Now, I tell you, we're the leader of outside events. I don't know of any body sculpt. Well, there's very few that compete with us, but there's plastic surgeons and there's weight loss centers and there's some people that are kind of similar to what we do, and none of them go to the events. So, I was at the where were we at last weekend? So I was at Jammin' and Jensen.
Ooh,
Thursday night. For you listeners out there, Jensen on Thursday nights has a pretty good turnout of crowd, and they have vendors and they have some booths and some craft tables right downtown in Jensen. And of course they have the two restaurants there, the big, the Duffy's and the New Orleans restaurant. What is it? Crawdaddy's. Right. And of course, and then you also have the, I don't know all the places, the bistro there. What is it? The Pineapple Bistro at the corner.
Yeah.
And then you also have the new bar, which is really popular. The one that has the outside where people sit, the River Bar there, right across from on A1A, right by the marina.
I haven't been.
I think it's something River. I don't know. I'm not a big drinker, so I don't really go there, but it's really crowded. And so I went there on Thursday night. I brought my little card table, and we had a little table there, and I put a sign up and laser assisted weight loss. And I had 4 people come out of the crowd, and 3 of them signed this week.
There you go.
They were like, "I can't believe you're here, doc." I'm like, "I know. Me neither." "Where's your staff?" "Well, my staff couldn't come, so here I am." And it was fantastic. I had a great time. I went out, had some appetizers. I met the general manager of Toyota Lexus here in Stuart. Him and his beautiful wife were eating at the at Duffy's. What a good-looking guy and a successful person. So if you're interested in a Lexus, they are definitely have the best deals and the most nicest cars I've ever seen.
Nice.
The Lexus over there. I'd also like to give a shout out to my newfound friend. Okay, now we are located in the WSTU radio studio right now.
Correct.
And that's at the bottom of the Roosevelt Bridge by Jefferson Way, right? Is that what that street is out here?
Joan Jefferson Way.
Joan Jefferson Way, right? So you know where we're at? Well, there's a Victorian style building here that's kind of attached to the Thai restaurant.
Yeah.
And there's a new girl in there who owns the salon. Her name is... Oh, gosh. Anyway, she's very nice, and she owns the Avita salon, and I think it's Holly.
Okay, we'll go with that. That sounds good.
Please don't. Or Heather. It was with an H. But I met her last week, and I went over there just today to reintroduce. But they're busy, and Avita is a good product. And if you're interested in getting your hair done, and I highly suggest you go over there and you check them out. It's an Avita salon, and will tell you what you really probably need to know. I'm looking because I grabbed a card. Here it is, the Victorian, an Avita exclusive salon. They're located right there on Joan Jefferson Way. No, Albany Avenue, they call it.
Okay,
200 Southwest Albany. So that's behind the spot.
But that's the intersection of Joan Jefferson, US 1. Albany's a small side street that runs parallel to US 1.
Yeah. And I also want to give a shout out to some other business people that are really helping me. One is the Modern Juice Company.
Okay. Now
that's located next to Orange Theory on US 1 and Monterey in the plaza there.
Okay.
Where the Home Goods and the Modern Juice Company is owned by Zach and his wife. They're locals, and they have all kinds of great, fresh, organic, and healthy juice choices. So they have smoothies and they have juices. And I made a commitment to myself about 4 weeks ago that I was going to have a green juice every single day.
Oh, really?
That I can. Now I missed Sunday the other day. I missed a couple of 2 days, but for the last 4 weeks, I've been very consistent with it. And I've been going in, I'm spending my $9 on my big green super 16 ounce juice, I'm doing kale and I'm doing turmeric and I'm doing carrots and beets and apple and organic. And I tell you, man, you can't go wrong if you do that. One big glass a day is it's like the doctor ordered the apple a day.
Yeah.
Keeps the doctor away. Well, a big green glass juice a day keeps the doctor away.
So is it just grass in there?
No, it's
kale
vegetables. I mix it up sometimes. They have different blends, but you want the green leafy vegetables, the spinach, the kales. You want the water, like the celery. One guy came in there this week and he ordered just celery.
Celery.
So they juiced like 3 big stalks, not stalks, but bunches of celery. And that, it filled it up with all the liquid. And that's what he'd used for hydration. He just worked out. And he felt that and he's probably correct on that. Anyway, so Modern Juice Company, next to Orange Theory, go tell them Dr. Tread sent you. You will not get a discount. But they'll give you a nice handshake, and they know me very well. And the other one that I really like recently is Fruits and Roots.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, Fruits and Roots is a vegan luncheon cafe. I guess they have some evening dinner dishes too, but they're located on Colorado Avenue, right between US 1 and the Confusion Corner. It used to be where the Goodyear tire store used to be on Colorado Avenue by that new by the dry cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
They're right there in that corner. They have that corner space. Fruits and Roots. Great choice, great food, great people. You'll be healthier. You'll live longer if you eat better foods. And that's why I'm pointing these things out to you. Because, Fruits and Roots, Modern Juice Company, these are excellent choices for getting some nice quality vegan and vegetable products into your body. Okay. So let's talk about why I am here. Why I am... Okay, so I've been doing these events. By the way, I'm going to be at Art in the Park this weekend in Vero Beach.
Okay.
You're going to be in Vero? You have a lot of listeners in Vero area, right?
Sure.
Fort Pierce. Well, we're going to be at Art in the Park, and we're going to have the staff there, and we're doing spinal, the fat screenings for body fat and for signing people up. So that's where we're going to be. And people ask me, what is it you do? Why, And I have this down. It's my elevator pitch. Okay. So basically, what I've done is I have taken an FDA cleared aesthetic laser, meaning it's a device which is used for beauty and improvement of fat reduction. It's a fat laser and it's FDA cleared. So the FDA says, hey, this is a safe thing to use. Go for it. Okay. And then what I've done is I've taken this spot fat reduction slimming device and I have included it into a weight loss program. I'm a chiropractor. My skills are in nutrition, wellness, food, detoxification, of course, exercise, alignment. This is what my skills are in. And what was happening was when I first bought this Lapex lipo laser, this non-invasive FDA cleared device, it was designed for spot fat, a girl who maybe wanted to get rid of some extra belly fat from having children. Maybe they have a muffin top that's spilling over, with someone within a reasonable body weight, under 25% body fat, which would be not even overweight yet. And, it worked very, very well for that. And then what happened is people would start to come in from our advertising who had more than just minimal fat. They had lots of it, right? Basically obesity. Mm-hmm. When you get into the 28% and the 30 percentile body fat, and it's common, and it's much more common when you're over 50 than when you're under 50 to have this thickening, this stubborn outer layer, which is so, it just doesn't respond to diet and exercise like it did when you were younger. And so what was happening was basically the laser can't really handle weight. It can handle the outer fat. It can shrink and reducing and get incredible results on the outside, but the inner fat, you got to eat less. You got to diet. You got to exercise to change that. So you can see my dilemma. if you come in, we promise, well, there's no diet and there's no exercise, and we can put this laser on you and you can lose inches. And the person's like, cool, but I want to lose weight. Well, so like I said, the laser can lose inches. 3 weeks, you can have you can drop from a 40 to a 36 waist size. And they go, but I want to lose weight. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to have to work up a diet for you. We're going to work up a food plan that will restrict your calories based on your BMR. You know, I know exactly what to do. But what was happening was I didn't really have the staff or the protocols or the ability to handle the consulting and what it takes to counsel on weight loss. So we started making suggestions on food and combining and protein intakes. And we always do some education on cleaning up your diet and, to get better results from the lipo laser, you have to eat better. And then what happened was in 2012, December of 2012, I had an onset of blood sugar that was high. I'd already been running some hyperglycemia, which is hyperglycemia, which is borderline pre-diabetes. And I was getting heavier through my 40s and into my early 50s. I put on like 5 pounds a year, I think is basically all I had put on from my 140. So, and when I was 45, so by the time I was 50, 52, I'm carrying around 25, 30 pounds. And by the time I'm 53, I'm like 50 pounds overweight. So I weigh 265 pounds and my normal fit fighting weights, used to be like 195, 200. Today it's about 220. So I needed help. I knew that the diabetes was raging. It was, and how it affected me, it caused me to, I had to pee all the time, right? It doesn't sound very pretty, but when your blood sugar is high and your insulin isn't working, you're spilling glucose out of your urine. The body has to get rid of the sugar somehow, and it increases your urine output, which makes you thirsty all the time. So you're parched, you're dehydrated. At night, you're really thirsty. I mean, I woke up at 9, 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning and drinking half a quart of water because you're so thirsty. And then you got to pee again, and you're thirsty again. And let me tell you, if that's happening to you and you got weight, you probably are diabetic, and you need to get to the doctor and have your blood sugar checked. If you haven't already, that's really important. Do not think that this can turn into a crisis very quickly. If you're overweight and your blood sugar is high and you're not on any medication and you don't understand what's going on, you need to go to the doctor, even into the hospital. When I checked my blood sugar that day, it was over 300. I'll repeat that. When I checked my blood sugar that day, it was between 300 and 400. So I'm a doctor. I go online. I check first, I think the blood glucose meter is broken. There's no way could it be that high. Right?
That is that's what you want it to be, right?
I like to see it that way. So I went online and I'm checking, and they're saying like, when your blood sugar is between 4 and 5, you got to go to the hospital. That's what it said on the websites, on WebMD and these other ones. And I'm like, all right, let me check this again. So I checked my blood sugar again. It's in December, and it's like 420. And I'm like, all right, maybe I got to look at this. And of course, I drank a lot of water and felt better that day. I was not prepared to go to the hospital myself. I know when I'm in crisis. I wasn't in that kind of crisis, but boy, my blood sugar was high. And that was the day that I decided I was going to, do something that was not okay to be that way. And what happened is I called some of my friends that are doctors, and we talked about it. And one of the statistics, which is really strong and truthful, is that if you are now type 2, there's 2 types of diabetes. There's type 1, which is 100% insulin dependent. You got to have insulin to live on type 1 diabetes. Type 2 is insulin resistance. It's something which it's called adult onset is what they used to call it, because it comes as you get older. Adults get type 2. Type 1, you can be born with it and you can develop it during your life. But type 1 is the one that you just can't reverse. I mean, let's be realistic. I don't know anyone that's ever reversed type 1. That means their pancreas is not working. The insulin is not being produced. So they have to supplement with insulin shots. The type 2 is a resistance. It's a lack of sensitivity with insulin helping you to get the blood sugar into the cell. So there's ways of making the body work better. You know, if it's a lack of resistance, I mean, there's a resistance to insulin. And if you exercise that day, your resistance drops. It lessens. And you can utilize insulin better if you exercise that day. It also found out that if you cut out any, if you cut off the refined carbohydrates, the foods which are sugar, the sugar-based foods, and you do that for a couple of days consistently, your blood sugar will improve. Your insulin becomes more effective. The resistance drops. So exercise drops resistance. So does eating foods which are low in sugar seem to help it. And when you lose body fat, you can also help with insulin resistance or this type 2 diabetes at the same time. Now, the statistic, and if you're interested, you can come into the office. I can show you these studies. It basically stated in many, many reports that if you are less than 5 years diagnosed with type 2, if you have a new diagnosis of type 2 diabetes within 5 years, and you're overweight, not overweight, obese, and you lose 10% of your body fat through exercise and diet, not through sucking it out. You got to do a little healthier. You have a 70 to 80% chance of reversing type 2 diabetes, of healing from it, of having it resolved, out of here, gone. So what do you think I did? You think I ran to the doctor and had metformin and had him scare the heck out of me and put me on drugs? No. I called my friends, other chiropractors, other people I know, and says, what do you suggest? And this is the best part, Mike. So they're like, I've got this weight and I got this diabetes. And the guy's like, my friend's colleague, he goes, don't you have a fat spa? And I was like, well, yeah, I do. He goes, well, why don't you use the laser on yourself? And I'm like, well, I did. When I first got it, I did. And I lost 8 inches. I didn't have the diabetes then. It wasn't an issue for me. I didn't know I had to keep losing weight. I only lost inches. That was 2 years before.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, so what do I do? He goes, well, why don't you try dieting at the same time this time? What a concept.
What a concept.
What a concept. You mean you want me to cut out have a diabetic friendly diet for lose weight and do well, it's amazing how sometimes we need a mentor or somebody to point out very obvious things to us.
Right, exactly.
Am I the only one that's there?
No, not even close.
You can't see through the forest. You're so in the trees. You can't see out of the forest because of the trees, And boy, that was but realize that in my office, I was not using the laser for weight loss. So it was like a concept. There was like a whole paradigm change I needed to change.
Mm-hmm.
In my office, staffing and having the right information and having the paperwork and having, the ability to measure and weigh people. And, weight loss is not the same as body sculpting.
No,
it takes a lot more time. And but I wanted help. And here's what happened. So that day, it was in 2012 in January. I made it through December. And then what happened is in January, I worked up a diet for myself, which was 2,000 calories a day was my max caloric intake. Now, in order to be successful in weight loss, people, please pay attention to this. This is really, really truthful. You have a number called you have your BMI, which is your body fat percentage. That's important, but it doesn't really help you plan your diet. It just tells you you're fat, right? It tells you how fat you are.
Right.
And it tells you if it's necessary. I mean, that's important, but it doesn't really give you any tools as to how much food you should eat or when you should eat. Okay. But there is a number that gives you that information, and it's a ratio of your body fat percentage. It's connected to it, and it's called your BMR. Now, Michael, I've been telling you about this for a long time.
That's right. Yep.
So what is BMR? I'll let you explain.
Basal metabolic rate, correct?
Right.
That is what I guess that's the number of calories your body burns on a daily basis of just you doing you.
Right. Without eating.
If
you were asleep.
Yeah.
For 24 hours. It's called your burn rate. Now, again, BMR. If you want to gain weight, you got to overeat your BMR consistently and you'll gain weight. You'll become fatter.
Well, you can also put on muscle if you do it right.
Right. And if you want to lose weight, you have to eat less than your BMR consistently without failure. And what's really interesting about BMR diet planning is you don't need to restrict diets to some kind of horrible Ethiopian kind of no food situation, where you're in the desert and you only got 600 calories, like the HCG. Was it 500 calories? Man, I couldn't function on that.
Right.
I can't think. Your brain needs carbohydrates to think. That's why we feel so bad when we diet, by the way, because we're cutting out carbs. We need those carbs. That's the brain's normal energy is carbohydrate. So that by planning my diet at 2,000 calories, it gave me a lot of food to eat. And as long as I consistently did it, I will lose weight. And so that's what I did. I set up a 2,000 calorie a day and I made it into 6 equal portions. The best way to describe that, suppose you had a Publix sandwich, like a Hero, a sub.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got protein and it's got carbohydrate. It's got some bread, which isn't the best choice, but I know I'll cut out the breads, but this gets the idea across. So let's say that puppy is 2,000 calories in that whole sandwich. And they can be that. A Whopper is like 1,600 calories, a double cheese Whopper, just the sandwich, not including the soda and the fries, which bring you over 2,000 calories. So anyway, that sandwich is 2,000 calories. And I took a knife and you cut it into 6 equal wedges. Cut it into 6 equal parts. Eat one wedge at 8 in the morning. Eat the next one at 10, the next one at 12 for lunch. Have the next one at 2, the next one at 6 for dinner. And maybe you could have another wedge at 8. So you're going to spread out those calories in 5 to 6 equal portions. So, some people's equal portion might be a 200 calorie. If they want to keep it under 1,000 calories, you'd have 5 200 calorie portions through the day. If your BMR is 1,500 calories, that's what you want to eat, keep it under that, then you can safely have 300 calories for breakfast, 300 for snack, 300 for lunch. Got it? I did that. And I jumped on the laser on a Monday at my office and I told the girls, treat me like a client. Measure me. Let's take pictures. Let's do this right. And so they did it. And in 3 weeks, 9 sessions in 3 weeks, I lost 10 inches of stubborn belly fat around my midsection. And that's combining 3 measurements. So we measure the belly button, 1.5 inches below, and 1 inch above whenever we measure somebody's abdomen. So we're measuring 3 spots. So if you lose 1 inch in 3 of those measurements, that's 3-inch loss. If you lose 2 inches in all 3 of those measurements, that's a 6-inch loss. If you lose 3 inches, it's a 9-inch, 4 inches is a 12-inch. So I lost 3 inches of girth laying on my back in 3 weeks. I went from a 40 to a 36 waist. And I was pretty happy with the result. So I did another 3 sessions, which is an additional week to make it 12 sessions. And I was now a loose 36. At the 9th session, I was a tight 36. After doing it to the 12th session, I was a loose 36. And I looked and felt a lot better. My neuropathy symptoms had 50% subsided at that point. The frequent urination and the bladder issue cleared up within the first 2 weeks. I started feeling better. I looked better. I had more energy. And I really, was very happy with the results, but I hadn't achieved the weight loss yet. Remember that. So what happened is people had asked me, they says, God, doc, you look great. You look like you lost 40 pounds. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I did because I only did this for 3 weeks. How can I lose 40 pounds? And I got on the scale and I only lost about 6 pounds in that 4 weeks. So I went from a 265 to like 258. Now, my goal was to lose 10% of my body fat because I desperately needed to reverse this type 2 diabetes. And I was responding to the losing of the belly fat, but I knew I hadn't achieved that goal. I needed that marker. I needed that 10% reduction. So I continued to eat better for 3 months. And I lost 10 pounds a month, 3 months in a row. At the end of that 4th month, I was down 38 pounds. And that's really my story. That's what I did. And so what happened is, as a result of that, I started to realize that there must be a lot of people that are suffering with the same thing I'm suffering with, because I like to think I'm a pretty well-read person and I keep really good track of my health, but weight had crept on over time and I really didn't know what to do to stop it. So it just got out of control, and then it affected my diet, my pancreas, and I was really in a pickle there, and I found relief. I found help through the laser and through eating better and dieting. And I says, gosh darn it, I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to make this into my program. And I sat down with the staff and we looked at it, and I wrote up the protocols and the diet plans, and we trained on it, and we started explaining the process to clients when they came in. We started targeting people that had more than just skinny fat, people that were obese, people that had diabetes, people with metabolic syndrome, people with high blood pressure. And the practice exploded in a good way. It didn't implode, it exploded in volume. And I went from having Fridays off, half a Tuesday, to working 6 days a week from 8 to 6, Saturday 2. Now we're even going to be we're actually going to open up till 8 o'clock, 3 nights a week. And we're going to increase our hours on Sunday because I don't have enough time. So now we're averaging 30 to 40 clients a day, 5 days a week. And what's happening is we have created an alumni program. Because, 3 weeks, 4 weeks is enough to get thin on the outside, but it's not enough to lose the weight. So we realized that people needed a program, a plan that they could come into the laser spot, receive the benefit of the laser in that 3-4 week, that quick, instant, that shrinking of the tummy. And then we have a program that allows them to continue getting laser sessions while they lose weight and eat better. Safe weight loss is 10 pounds a month. If you're losing more than 10 pounds a month, and it's you're actually losing weight too fast, and your recidivism, your chance of gaining it back are huge when you lose it too fast. But everybody knows that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So you're just not going to get weight off any faster. You can get it off faster, but it'll make you sick, and it's not worth it. So we really suggest 10 pounds a month is safe, sane weight loss for the average person who has a normal metabolism. If somebody has health challenges, they have blood sugar issues, they're on medications, maybe 10 pounds might be too quick for them. But, I'm a doctor, and that's something that I look at when people come in. So we ended up with an incredible weight loss fix-it. It's a fix-it. It isn't a weight loss program. It fixes blood sugar. It can fix, high blood pressure. It can lessen body fat. And we can prove it through examinations and testing and BMIs and repeat examinations that as a result of the treatment, the Slim Body Laser Spa, we are lowering your body fat percentage. And that's huge. You could be 300 pounds. And if your lean muscle mass is 80% and your body fat is 20% and you weigh 300 pounds, you are healthier than a person who weighs 100 pounds that has 40% body fat. Right? What the main biomarker. Now, biomarker is a term that doctors use when they're looking for a sign that you're either getting better or you're getting worse. That's a biomarker.
Okay.
So a biomarker, when it comes to blood work and you have maybe elevated white blood cells, that biomarker says, hey, we have an infection. And then you would do treatment and repeat that test. And when the white blood cell count goes down, that's the biomarker that you're responding. Okay. So the biomarker is a really important thing that doctors use. One of the number one biomarkers of somebody who is leading to disease, leading to heart disease or cancer or stroke or diabetes or inflammation is a high body fat. That's a biomarker which is no good if you have high body fat. And that means more than 20% of your weight is fat, of your body mass is fat. And that's where the BMI comes in, is so important. So the BMI is an exam that we do in the Slim Body Laser Spa that passes a mild electrical current through your body. You put these little electrodes on your right hand and electrodes on the right foot. You sit back. We put your age, your weight, your height, your gender, and how much you're exercising into the database. And then it runs its test, and it comes up with your body fat percentage to an error rate of 3%. So if it says you're 30%, there's an error rate of about 3%. You might be 28, you might be 32. Okay. But it is infallible. We call it the judge, because people don't realize how much body fat they have. And then when they see it's at 30, 35, we've had people almost 50%. And what that means is half your body is fat. Half your weight is fat. That is not healthy. It is a biomarker from hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say that the hell is on my life. Hell is an empty schedule.
Yeah.
That's hell for me. I look at the new clients. There's nobody on there. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh boy.
For somebody whose body fat is over 30, 35, hell is a high body fat percentage, because it pulls you down like an anchor, man. I mean, it holds you down. It prevents you from walking any long distances. It puts taxes on it stresses your heart. It stresses your vascular system. Your body is having to handle the excess fat, and it can't get rid of it. So it stores it all around the body, stores it in the liver, stores it around the heart. You get pericardial heart fat around your heart sac. You can get fat in your liver called fatty liver disease. You can get accumulations of fat in your outer skin, like lipomas, swelling areas. I just had a guy come in and he had he's developing a lipoma, which is a mass of fat in an area that you wouldn't normally grow it. It was actually up around the neck area, around the top of the shoulders. And he says, I went to the doctor and they told me it was a fatty mass and not to worry about it. I said, okay, it's not crushing your heart or anything, or it's not growing into your lung field. You're right. It's a fatty mass. I said, did you ask him where it came from? He's like, what do you mean? He goes, why did it happen? Where's it coming from? He goes, well, they don't know. I said, sir, you're 38% body fat. Your body's filled with fat in your gut, in your liver, around your heart. I says, what makes you think you wouldn't grow a mass up in the top of your shoulder from the fat?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happens when you have too much, it can't go to the normal areas. And sometimes it'll appear in another area. Now, I don't have the statistics or the research to prove that, but it just makes sense to me. If you just, you start shrinking down the fat level, that lipoma is going to get smaller too, because it's the same system. It's all connected in many ways. It's a fat cell. So, who would have thought, Slim Body Laser Spa, making girls and men look beautiful, could be such a health trend and healthy thing to do. All right. If you're interested, please give me a call. I am the doctor. I do the consultations. You will come out of my consultation with a wealth of information. Even if you choose not to do the procedure, maybe it's a little pricey for you, or you don't have the money, or the finances are a little tight. It's an investment. So it's very valuable. And when you come in, we go over stuff. We help you with weight, can educate you. So give us a call. The phone number is 772-223-5885. Go online, Slim Body Laser Spa. Google my name, Dr. Tread. You'll get there's only one Dr. Tread out there, and it'll go right to my Slim Body Laser Spa website. All of my information. I looked up some of my reviews the other day. I got 30 plus Google reviews.
Nice.
At 4.9 stars, Mike.
That's pretty good.
For 30 times with an aesthetic center, a beauty, you know, like think of when people come in. Are they happy with how they look? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. And when they leave, they're happy enough to do a 5-star review.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty huge.
That is huge. Absolutely.
Right. It isn't like they're like, I loved going in to buy this dress. I have the most nicest dress I've ever seen. I love this store. They have the best dresses, and I bought the best dress. We change somebody's perception about how they look and how they feel.
And that is huge. And
that is huge.
When I was going through, and you run into other people at the whole body vibration machines, the platforms, area. and there's 3 machines in that room, and you're in there, and sometimes you're by yourself, sometimes there's 1 or 2 other people in there with you, and you get to talking while you're bouncing around all over the place, and you're trying to not sound like an idiot, but they sound like an idiot too, so it's fine. And everybody just is so excited about having this fat that has been building and building and building
like
for years and decades, and that you become self-conscious of it. And here it's noticeably going away in a matter of weeks, in a matter of days. You're seeing daily changes. And usually by the time somebody gets to that step, they've done the diet and exercise where they've punished themselves for weeks and months on end. And you see just tiny improvements, incremental improvements. And here there is no pain. There is no punishment. It's a pleasant experience. And you're seeing massive changes in just a few days. People want to tell other people about that experience. And you're constantly talking, oh my God, I lost 6 inches. I'm at 4 inches. I had to go buy a new belt. It's just a lot of excited chatter.
Right. Well put. Absolutely true. And safe, no downtime, no burns, no injuries, no puncture holes, no injections, no drain tubes, no, severe caloric restriction. So what do we ask about people? What do we ask from you? We ask that you don't eat food 2 hours before the laser or 2 hours after. So when you're on the machine, you want to be hungry. You want to come in hungry. You don't have to be starving. You're not going to lose your, dropping in your blood sugar, freaking out. No, we're not talking that. We're just talking don't eat for 2 hours before the laser. And then you lay on the laser for 30 minutes. It releases 600 calories. And then you move into what we call the whole body. You walk into the whole body vibration plate. You stand on this machine, which moves your body, and it stimulates the release of those calories. It pushes those calories into your visceral system. It pushes it into your digestive tract. Now, you haven't eaten for 2 hours. Remember, you came in hungry. You're on the laser. 600 calories is released into the system. So when you go home for the next 2 hours, you're going to burn those calories. They go away in 2 hours. Now, the surgeon would suck it out with a stick and put it in a jar, and then you'd have to wait a year to see a result. So now they do it in one time. We require a series of treatments. Mm-hmm. So 9 sessions, 3 times a week for 3 weeks. 80% of our clients freak out. They are so happy. And let me tell you, we're very price sensitive. We do a lot of research. And at the end of the program, very few people, you have your rarities, do not feel that it was not worth what they paid. And in fact, most of them continue with alumni and other visits. There's so many people there that you're going to know and recognize when you come in there. It's not fair to me to say who's there, but this is a who's who of Martin County comes into this laser spa. We have proven the test of time that we're still there, and people trust us, and they really love coming in to see us. So give us a call, free consultations. This is the time to do it. I love and appreciate you all. I will see you next week.